Hello and welcome. Today I'm sharing with you this glowing neutrals on neutrals, no makeup look that is perfect for mature skin. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Cindy. I love to review skincare, hair care, and a little bit of makeup. I am traditionally kind of a minimalist makeup girl. I love that no makeup look. The brand that I'm going to review for you today is perfect for those of you who love a natural but elevated and elegant look. Today is a full face of Hourglass makeup. I am completely late to the Hourglass party. The only product that I've actually used up and repeatedly purchased is their ambient lighting powder in diffused light. The way I use that mostly is just to give my face a little bit of a glow, but I have to admit I haven't used any other Hourglass products. So today's video will be a first impressions of their primer, their concealer, their skin tint. I was gonna say new skin tint, but this is not new at this point. Their mascara, their lippies. This is their lip balm, and I have the shade Mist and Mauve. And you know how I love a mauve lip color. And last but not least, I have a trio of their lighting powders. The only thing I don't really have is a blush, but I think I'm just gonna use one of these highlighting powders as my blush today for a very natural look. I'm gonna start with their primer. This is their Vanish Airbrush Primer. I've already done some color correction to my eyelids and a couple spots on my face. So the primer is going over my color correcting product. I used the Stila palette today. I love this to do color correction. I did a video fairly recently on that, and I'll link that up above. You can go check that out. Actually, this is going to take 2 pumps. This is super moisturizing. Let me just tap this in really quick and let me pin my bangs out of the way. All right, here we go. Like I was saying before, I am a bit of a minimalist makeup girl. 9 times out of 10, I just put mascara and a lip balm on and head out the door. I've already put my sunscreen on today. Today I used the Kinship sunscreen. That's the one I seem to be reaching for. It's a mineral sunscreen and it sets up really nicely. So we're going to see how that plays under a full face of Hourglass makeup. I have 2 of their skin tints. This is their Veil skin tint. I have 12 and 13. We'll see which one is the better color match. And as you can see, this is definitely first impressions. I haven't even opened this yet. Let's see what these 2 look like side by side. This is the 12 and this is 13. There's not a ton of difference between these 2. The 12 is a little bit more on the yellow side and the 13 a little bit more on the neutral side. I'm going to blend them actually and apply them with a brush. I'm going to use the BK Beauty brush. This is one of their 101 brushes. And I'm going to stipple this in. I like a real sheer look to my makeup. So stippling into my mature skin is usually the best way that I can apply a complexion product to make sure there's a little bit of skin peeking through. And I have to say the blend of these 2 is honestly a perfect match. I think the 12 would have been a little bit too yellow and the 13 a little bit too deep. To be perfectly honest, when I put these on my hand, they're a little bit more coverage than I expected for a skin tint. But so far, this is going on really nicely and really setting up well, just stippling it in. Stippling it in also tends to help let it melt into your skin a little better, and it also doesn't leave those streaky lines. So I'm gonna apply a little bit more to the back of my hand. I just did about 1 inch worth of both, and that seems to be working great. I'm just kind of mixing these up on the back of my hand. I think I might have gotten a little bit too much on that one. All right. Like I said, this is a little more coverage than I expected at first, but it's a pretty match. I always try to go over my lid a little bit and under my eye to get a good color match throughout my entire face, especially over my lip area. I have a little hypopigmentation, and then definitely down my neck to make sure I get a seamless look. and over the ear. What I've really learned is doing this area is easy to forget, but really important when you're putting on makeup. I'm blending it into the hairline just ever so slightly at the very end when you're putting your makeup on. It really helps kind of give that seamless look. All right, that is the skin tint placed. I like it. Like I said, a little heavier than I expected, but I still like it. You know, if you're a minimalist makeup, this might be a little bit too much, even though they're calling it a skin tint. But super pretty, nice and luminous. So I'm gonna let this set for just a second while we work on the concealer. I prefer a color corrector for my eyes, which I've already placed in, but we're gonna try this concealer. The concealer is in Cream Vanish. And I always apply my concealer to the back of my hand because I'm always ending up getting too much concealer in my under eye area and it always creases. And again, I'm gonna stipple it in with a brush and then blend it out. So I'm just putting it on the back of my hand, stippling it in. This is really lightweight, I like it. And I'm not using very much of it at all. And I probably won't wear a shadow today. I've been enjoying not wearing a shadow, even when I do a full face of makeup. It definitely improved the look of the color correcting that I did with the Stila palette. Somebody was asking me last week if I could put a concealer over the color correction, and you most certainly can, especially if it's a nice lightweight concealer like this. All right, we'll do the left eye. All right, so far, the concealer is a winner. I still probably prefer the lightness of the serum texture of the It's Bye Bye Dark Spot Corrector. And I'll do a wear test at the end of this video, and we'll see how all this settles in and how it lasts throughout the day. Of course, you're not gonna ever get a concealer, I don't think, on mature skin to not crease all day long. So far, I like the weight of this concealer. It's super lightweight and doesn't look like it's gonna do too much creasing. I'm also gonna set my under eye area to help prevent creasing. I'll either use the diffused light that I have, or I'll use one of the Stila powders. They have two powders. They have a purple powder and a yellow powder. We'll see how this all goes on, and we'll see if I need a color correcting powder or just a nice translucent highlighting powder to set the under eye area. This is the Unlocked mascara. I have primed my lashes with the Benefits primer, so I'm hoping this is going to glide over really nicely. I am having to apply quite a few layers to get a full look, but at least it's not clumping. The brush is okay. A little clumping in the center there, but it gives a nice fluttery kind of look. Now my lashes aren't at their best right now. That's another video coming up. But I like the look. It's a very natural look. And I always just give my lashes a little push up. I don't typically use a lash curler. I do have one, but I don't use it. I think it's too harsh on my lashes, which are already quite sparse right now. I actually like this. It's very pretty, very lightweight. We'll see if that gives any fallout by the end of the day. Next, we're going to jump into this trio of ambient lighting powders, see if I can get some dimension to my face. I thought I would use the radiant light to kind of warm up the perimeters of my face, the incandescent light over my cheekbones, and then the dim light probably as a little bit of a blusher. I may even use one of these over my eyelid to give it a little pop. So this is the radiant light to kind of warm up the perimeters of my face. I like to swirl in a little bit of bronzer, maybe darken it up along my jawline just a little bit. But that just kind of warmed things up just a tad. Now I'm going to use a little bit of the dim light over my cheekbones. And the incandescent light over the high area of my cheekbones. actually really like that. It's a very natural look with neutrals on neutrals and a lot of luminescence in these products. All right, I'm gonna put a tad of the Radiant Light over my mobile lid. And I always just tap in just for a little color and maybe a little bit of the incandescent light under my brow bone. Okay, I'm really liking that look. Like I said, it's kind of neutrals on neutrals, not a lot of color, but just sort of a warm, natural look. I have two of the Phantom Glossy Balms, one in mist and one in mauve. I'm gonna swatch these for you. This is mist. Ooh, they're very creamy. And here's mauve. I can't really decide which one I like better. I think I'm gonna go with mauve. Definitely a lip balm. I love these. They're very lightweight, very moisturizing. I can't decide if they're more like a balm or a lip gloss. As far as brows, I'm just going to brush them into place. I've been really into a natural brow lately, just with a little bit of brushing. I have lost a little bit of color on them recently because I've switched the brow serum that I'm using, but I'm still liking just kind of a real natural look to my brows. My first impression for all the Hourglass products that I use today is definitely a thumbs up for mature skin. If you love a natural yet sophisticated look, I think this combination of products is definitely going to work out for you, especially if you have mature skin because they're all so super hydrating. I love the lip product. I'm going to set my under eye area with a little bit of the Stila powder, the purple one. It helps neutralize the yellow in my under eye area and kind of brighten things up a bit. So I'll be back in about 8 hours to share the wear test with this new Hourglass look. I took a little video footage during my walk today. I always think it's a good idea to take a few selfies in natural lighting, especially when you're trying a new makeup look or a new complexion product, to see if the look you were trying to achieve actually holds up in multiple lighting settings. At first glance, I'm really surprised because it actually looks like I have complexion products still on my face. Over the cheek, it still looks like I have blush. Over the eye area, I don't see a ton of creasing in the crow's feet. I do not see much mascara fallout, if any. It could be because I applied some setting powder both above and below my eye. Now around the nose area there's some breakup, but my blush still looks good. Under the chin, of course, there's some breakup again, but that's typical because I usually put my hands on my chin. I rest my hand on my chin. I am really pleasantly surprised about no creasing in the upper lid. Typically that's where I get a lot of creasing, whether I'm using a color correction product or just a little bit of shadow. I'm especially impressed with the lack of fallout from this mascara. It's a rare day that after 8 hours I don't have some fallout or some smudging, so I'm really impressed with the mascara. Also, the whole makeup look really is holding together. I feel like I could still go out in the evening with a little bit of lipstick, a little touch up on my blush, and be perfectly happy with this look. Really surprised that after 8 hours this Hourglass look held up. Thanks very much for watching and wishing you all a skin-tastic day.